I'm John Hinkle, the senior pastor of First Presbyterian Church here in downtown Murfreesboro on the corner of College and Spring. This is your Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon. So we are in the second Sunday of our, I think I've got it down, 6 sermon series, maybe 7 sermons that I don't have down on the life of King David. Last Sunday we looked at when Samuel anointed David to be king. This Sunday we're going to take another look at a very familiar story, and that is when David faces down a giant in the land, when he faces down Goliath. Just to recap the story, as King Saul and the people of Israel were establishing themselves in the land promised to them by God, much like when Abraham came into the promised land, there were already people living in that land who thought the land was theirs too. One of the groups we hear about a lot are the Philistines. The Philistines were a tribe that actually lived on the coast of the Mediterranean. In fact, they were seafaring people, but eventually they wanted to expand their ministry. They wanted to expand their territory, and they went east. And of course, east is where the Israelites lived. And so on paper, the Philistines and the Israelites were almost even. But the Philistines said something the Israelites did not have. They had a giant. They had Goliath. And the Bible tells us as the two warring tribes faced off, they did so at a valley. At one end of the valley were the Philistines. The other end of the valley were the Israelites. And in the valley, Goliath would come down and he would call out King Saul. And he would challenge King Saul to a one-on-one fight. What he would say is, why get people killed? How about this? We'll just have a loser leave town match. Many of you know I grew up watching professional wrestling, especially Georgia Championship Wrestling on TBS. Mr. Wrestling number 2 was my hero. And so that's what Goliath said. We'll have a loser leave town match. Only the loser wasn't going to leave town. The loser was going to die. And then whoever won would then be the conquering people, if you will. But Saul and his men cowered. Then we're told that David one day goes to the front lines. So he goes to where the Israelites are. And he goes not because he wakes up one morning thinking, I'm going to fight a giant. He goes because his dad, Jesse, says, hey, I need you to take these rations to your brother. But it was in that moment that David heard that giant, and David said, I'll fight that giant. David chooses to fight that giant not because he thinks he's going to win. He fights the giant because he knows God is on his side. And as a matter of fact, I even say in my sermon, live or die, it doesn't matter to David. What matters is that God in the end will be victorious. And so I won't get into the conclusion of the story. You know what the conclusion of the story is. You know the story full well. But it is a reminder. All of us, I don't care who you are, all of us are facing giants. We are facing giants. I thought I was going to mention this in my sermon. I've decided not to. But, this week, my giant, the thing that I've been facing in the valley, my giant, has been my pride and my ego. Not that my pride and my ego have been getting in the way, but my pride and my ego will kind of hurt this week. Leela knows how that happened. In fact, only Leela knows how that happened. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that my pride and my ego were wounded, and I could have easily just kind of, felt sorry for myself, had a pity party. But I knew, because of faith, that God was calling me to get, brush this off and move on. And that was facing my giant. What is your giant? What is the thing that is staring you down? And what has God called you to stand up against? So I look forward to being with you. Someone once said just recently that they knew that after this service, Leila and I will be going to the mountains of North Carolina. They just assume the sermon's going to be shorter. It's not. And I will also remind you that after the service, we will have a brief congregational meeting to hear a report from the session about the budget and to act on a change of call for the senior pastor and the associate pastor. So there you go. I am excited about this sermon. I say that almost every Sunday, but I am. I'm excited about the sermon. So I hope you can be here. If you can't be here, watch us on our YouTube channel. Hey, just to let you know, we know last week we had major technical difficulties. That's because just the way we record is giving up the ghost. But we're excited that the new audio, visual, and sound that project is going on right as I'm recording. So shout out to all the super fans, Glenn Emery, Savannah. I think I remember what you look like. Your dad, it's a vague memory. Barry and Melanie and Marcy Richmond. I don't know where Marcy is. I said that last Sunday. She's somewhere, but I know she's watching. Y'all have a great day.